So, as you guys know, I visited an event called Salon Privé last week down in Oxfordshire, and it was basically a massive car show where they were, the owners were showing off their classic cars, their well maintained, well restored cars, and entering in a concourse competition to see who had the best cars, who had the most impressive one, the most unique one, all that sort of stuff. But on top of that, to my surprise, there was actually some exhibitions that were not looking to the past, but were also looking towards the future. And again, to my surprise, there was one there from Microlino. Now, you might not recognise the name Microlino, but if you had a scooter like me in the 90s, then you probably will have seen these guys because they were the guys that made the scooters, the famous scooters with little I don't even know what you call it. I don't even know what they made, little rubber wheels and stuff. They were so cool back in the day. If you had one of those, you were automatically cool, pretty much. At least I thought I was in my mind, but maybe not. But anyway. They've branched out since then. They don't just do scooters anymore, but they also are making an electric car. Which, when I saw that, I was like, you guys are making an electric car? But you know what? It's actually really cool. And it's basically based on an old, like a bubble car sort of thing from the 1960s. Like you might see like an old Fiat 500 or I'm trying to think the Peel P50. Remember that in Top Gear, the world's smallest car? This thing is not that small, thankfully. In fact, I'll probably put an image of it on the screen now, up there at least. Maybe I'll take the whole screen up. We'll find out when I go through the edit. But I could actually fit in it. I'm 6 foot tall. I could actually fit in it and actually get out of it relatively easily. It's not that small, and it could really solve a lot of transportation issues when it comes to city cars. These really small city cars. They're basically having a go at that, and I think it looks great. I think it looks incredible. So yeah, I managed to interview the head of the UK company Krazy Horse that are actually distributing these cars in the UK. So I managed to have a chat with Lee Frankish. So I'm going to play that interview now with some footage over the top so you can learn a bit more about this amazing car, which is made by a company that's famous for making scooters. So I'm here at Krazy Horse, and there is a car that's been made, electric car that's been made by the same company that used to make the same scooters that I used to go around my old state on when I was about 8 years old. And I just find that an incredible story, how a company that's known for making scooters that kids go around on could actually really change things for city driving in particular.
Yeah, I mean, I think the micro scooter came out in the 90s, and I think over 80 million sales later. I think the founders of the company, they must have just recognised that urban mobility was a thing. Mm-hmm. And I think if you look at cities across Europe now or across the world, how we're getting around the city is changing.
Yeah.
I come from Edinburgh, and you've got everything from a push bike through to a tram and everything else in between. Lanes are being painted, bollards are going up, one-way systems are going in, even traffic lights are being redesigned and reconfigured. So, how the people in an urban landscape are moving is evolving, it's changing. So, with this vehicle, that's really what it's all about. How are you going to get around the city? But at the same time, it happens to be propelled electrically. Mm-hmm. But the functionality of the vehicle, the build quality of the vehicle, the safety of the vehicle, the ease of charging of the vehicle, its usability, in terms of the space inside, how you can, the ease of adjusting the seats, engaging the drive, the space that you have in the back with the boot, soft close front door. So it's an all-round package. And then when you factor in that retro, cool, funky look that's inspired by 1950s bubble car,
yeah,
the cocktail that they've created for a vehicle to get around town, it's just it's not just an electric car. Mm-hmm. It's a number of things, and it all comes together and it gels beautifully. And hence the reason that we're now working with it here in the UK, and we'll go and looking forward to setting up some dealers and getting some retail.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very interesting car at the end of the day. I mean, from a distance, with the greatest respect, I thought it was something old, especially with all these classic cars all around here, but it is inspired by that. But, cars for the longest time is something I complain about all the time on the Motoring Chronicle. Cars these days are too big for the most part, especially in cities. But
cars like this are showing that it can be done. You can make something that's very small and very nimble and can just go around the city. Because at the end of the day, I mean, I spoke to my good friend Ed about it a lot on a podcast. You know, the average person, I think even in America, even in the States, they average like 30 miles a day, something like that. In the UK, we average 20 miles a day. This is perfect for that.
Yeah, well, I think, you know, the analysis that has already been done would suggest, as an average, that cities across Europe, you know, you're less than 100 miles a week.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then if you look at the occupancy of the vehicle, I think it works at about 1.2 people per car.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, is there the need to have this huge, big, potentially 6-seating vehicle that takes up a huge amount of space on the road with one person in it doing 100 miles a week? So I think that's what they're sort of kind of what we're trying to see people. It's not just a case of tapping into that. I think consumers are moving to that place, and they're looking for choice and vehicles that are going to fit that bill. So that's kind of where this vehicle falls in. And, you know, as I said, I mean, it's, you know, a few years ago I bought and sell a couple of e-bikes. I've done 700 miles on my e-bike in a year and a half. And when I bought it with a little bit of kind of, I wonder if I'm going to use this as much as I think I am. Will it end up in the garage and then being sold on Gumtree? No, nothing of the sort. I use it. Okay, I'm a fair weather rider, I'll be honest, but you know, getting around Edinburgh on that e-bike has kind of changed the way I navigate Edinburgh. So, you know, I'm 55 and a bit of a petrol head, and if that's how I'm thinking and now starting to navigate Edinburgh, then, you know, it's not surprising that, you know, the younger generation that are coming through, they're looking at their urban mobility choices, and they're thinking outside the box a bit.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. And it comes with a sunroof as well. Essentially, it's one of the add-ons, I believe, isn't it?
But that's it. You know, if you go through the vehicle and you look at its functionality, and you look at some of its features, how it operates, how easy it is to get in, get out, the soft closing doors, you know, the way that the safety shell is constructed in one piece, everything about the car, you know, is quality, it's right, it fits, it works, and you know, and the thing is as well, with it being inspired from a look from the past. Like a number of vehicles that are in the market today, you know, the Beetle springs to mind, the Mini, the Fiat 500. When you're buying something that has that sort of retro look about it, what you don't get from the vehicle is a situation where after 4 years it's kind of dated. You know, with a lot of cars, you know, your Ford Fiestas and your Corsas, when they're getting updated on a regular basis, you know, within 5 years you can have an out-of-date model and it's the new facelift. When you go down that retro path, it's kind of almost a timeless look.
It's established, isn't it?
Yeah. Another thing that I think is worth pointing out, and it's a hot topic in the world of EV, is that when this vehicle gets to the point, let's call it 8-10 years down the road, that you perhaps do need to change a battery pack. It's not expensive to do, and it's not difficult to do.
Yeah.
So the longevity of the vehicle, well beyond its sort of 4 or 5 years, and you know, you're going to have the vehicle for some time.
Sounds great. And I might as well give a shout out as well to Krazy Horse, because you've seen you guys got this store, and you've also got the one over there with the Morgans. There's bikes here. I mean, just kind of give a rundown of what you guys do.
Yeah, so Krazy Horse, obviously, they've got 4 stores. They're very much a store for, in first instance, petrol heads. You know, but you know, with they sell e-bikes, they sell the Microlino. So you know, they're starting to recognise that it's, you know, it doesn't have to be a big V8 engine. There's all sorts of different ways to propel whatever it is you're buying. Krazy Horse, whilst they've got 4 retail stores and will be managing the Microlino product, they're also the distributor for the UK.
Yeah.
My job is to try and put together a dealer network that will bring Microlino to the cities that matter across the UK and in Northern Ireland. We have got 2 other dealers already appointed. So in terms of outlets, we've already got 7 outlets. We've got Oakmere working up in Cheshire, and we've got Central Motors working in Nottingham. We're going to add to the dealer network. So that's kind of my role, my job as business development managers, is to get the network up and running. 20 to 25 dealers is what we're targeting for the UK, and so hopefully as you get around the country, you'll see Microlino in many other locations.
I was just about to say, yeah, best of luck, and I'll keep an eye out for the Microlino, especially if it's in this lovely orange colour. It'll definitely stand out in a very good way. No, thank you for your time, really appreciate it.
Nice to talk to you. Thank you very much.
You too.
Cheers.
Hope you guys enjoyed that interview from Salon Privé, and for much more content on the world of motoring and motorsport, do keep it tuned right here to themotoringchronicle.com. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and ring the bell as well to see much more video content just like this.